Welcome back to the shop. What's wrong with your Bobcat? We got leaking steering shaft seals today, so let's go over how to get those seals replaced. Alright, so I've got the arms of the machine raised and supported, and I've got the cab opened up. So right now we're looking at the hydrostatic drive pump itself. This section here would be for the right side, this section's for the left side. So we've got a left side here, shaft seal leaking. We can see hydraulic oil pouring down from the top of it. So our seal's right up underneath here, and that's where we need to get it replaced. So here's the seals that we're replacing today. This is the actual shaft seal itself. This is like an O-ring type seal, D-ring for the seal retaining plate. And then we've got a little dust seal that goes on top after we get the retainer plate on. So let's get started. First thing we have to do is remove this steering plate here, and all it is the one bolt holding on the steering centering spring. I've got the old style bolt, so I got to use a 3/4 on the outside and a 9/16 on the inside, but new style bolt will be a 9/16 on both sides. Hold one side. So here's my centering spring. Right away I notice I'm missing a bushing here. No problem. And then the top steering plate just slides off just like that. Then we need to take off our steering triangle. And there's a 9/16 head retaining bolt on it. Just gotta maneuver it into position where I can get, well, it looks like I'm not gonna be able to get my ratchet on it. Okay, that's tight. I'm gonna spare you the pain of watching this. Okay, finally got the retainer bolt out. So I had to move my arm to get the bolt to clear the housing in behind it. Pry bar, let's remove our steering triangle. Like that. And here's that dust seal we were talking about that we're going to replace. Man, what a mess. Okay, adapter plate's got 4 bolts holding it on. Use a 1/2 inch. Okay. Adapter plate. Okay, so we're getting ready to pull the seal retaining plate up. So let's talk for just a second. The 763 has a hydraulic tank right here, which means it's higher than the pump itself. These steering pump, the cavity is full of oil. and it has head pressure on it, which means basically the weight of the oil in the hydraulic tank is pushing down and creating a little bit of pressure inside the pump. So when I pull this plate off, what's going to happen is oil is going to start coming out the top. And there's also a bearing underneath here, and that pressure is going to want to push that bearing out. So just be aware of it and be ready for it. You know, I have an adapter for my hydraulic tank that I built where I can pull a vacuum, and the vacuum will keep the oil from flooding out and keep that bearing in place. But at home you probably don't have that option, so we're going to show you the real world way to doing it. Either we can drain the hydraulic oil, but you're still going to have a lot of oil coming out of here. Either way, we're just going to make a mess. So here we go. Let's pull this plate up. See, the oil's just pouring out of it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to lose all my oil. Either I'm going to put the vacuum on it or I'm just going to drain the oil. I haven't decided, but either way, just be aware this is going to be an issue. Okay, I decided just to drain the oil because I'm also going to change my case drain filter, so I might as well just drain all the oil and flush the system while I'm doing it. So now we can pull this plate up and we don't have to worry about the bearing pushing out. So there's our bearing below it. Here's our plate. Here's the D-ring seal. And here's the internal seal. So this seal pushes in from the bottom. Let's go change that out real quick. So with our plate upside down, this would be the bearing side. Flathead screwdriver. Pop it right out. New seal. Again, retainer side toward the inside. Press it in, just tap it in a little bit. And the seal's pre-greased inside there. Okay, new D-ring. This actually mounts on the pump first, and then the plate's going to go on top of it. Okay, new quad seal. Sits right in that groove. Wipe off that shaft a little bit. I forgot to put this plate back on before. Oh, come on. Click, click. Click, click. 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 Alright, now I need my dust cover seal. That's the old one. I need a new one. Didn't do much good because my shaft is about worn out. Tappity tap tap. Click, click. Okay. Now slide our steering plate back on. Okay. Now, let's talk about how we're going to get this spring compressed, because you've got to compress this spring or you can't get this on far enough to get your nut and washer started. Like I said, I'm missing a bushing here, but she's just going to have to ride without it for right now. Okay, so in order to compress the spring, my preferred method is a GM door spring tool. You can open it up, put it around the spring, tighten it down, and it'll compress it for you. Then you can slide it right in there, no problem. But if you don't have a door spring tool, no problem. Hopefully you've got a couple zip ties, because this is my second method. I kind of start a zip tie a couple rungs down, feed it through, and then back out. Same thing, 180 degrees on the other side of the spring. So I've got a wire tie fed through, one on each side. We're going to compress the spring a little bit with the vise. It doesn't take a whole lot. And believe it or not, these zip ties will hold this spring caged until we get it installed. Ooh, scares the hell out of me, but it does hold. Just watch your fingers. Let's go get it installed. Now we can try and feed our spring back through. Gotta get the holes lined up. Okay. Washer. Nut. You see a 3/4 wrench on my bumper. 7/8,
Yeah.
3/4. Give me the wire cutters out of the, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Hold one side. Click, click. Okay. And I just got my wire ties. And drag them out. Alright, so that's how we replace the steering pintle shaft seal. I only did one side, it's my machine. Ideally, I probably should have done both sides while I was in there, but it's such an easy job, I just did one side. So we didn't change any of the geometry on our steering block, so the steering should still be exactly where it was when you took it off. In this case, I got a little forward creep, so I still got to set my steering a little bit. So yeah, so now all I have to do now is top off the hydraulic tank and clean it up and test it out. Any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.